Welcome back, everybody, to Caravan of Garbage, where we're going through 5 movies where they're sort of connected, but they're not really connected.
They're not connected at all.
No.
They're connected in our minds.
Yeah.
They're connected in our very souls.
Well, I thought I found a connection last week.
Tommy guns?
Tommy guns, yeah.
There's a Tommy gun in this, I think.
But is there a sequence of Tommy gunning?
No, there's not a sequence of Tommy gunning. There's one half-hearted Tommy gunning.
I think that might count then.
Yeah, okay.
All right, okay, we're still on track. But if anybody knows anything more definitive that links these movies, and not comic book movies that nobody saw,
or
whatever.
the old-timey 30s, because that doesn't count either.
No.
Or like, you know it when you see it. But also, I think the next week is gonna. If there's a Tommy gun in the next one, I'll be very surprised.
Well,
yeah,
we'll find out, won't we? Anyways, leave a like on this video because we're talking about 1996's The Phantom.
The Phantom. Australia's own The Phantom.
Now, why do you say that?
Well, look,
because it's not true.
It's not true at all. But The Phantom is an American comic book created by American Lee Falk in the 30s. But like Neil Finn and Mel Gibson before he went bad, while created in America, we've claimed The Phantom as our own.
That's right.
And I think the reason for this is, if you'll indulge me, James, I'm going to have to explain to our mostly American audiences about the show bag.
Oh, okay, right.
You love a show bag, right?
No, they fucking suck.
Because they're really expensive and filled with garbage?
Yes.
But also... So, folks, in Melbourne, which is where we're from, there's a thing called the Royal Melbourne Show. And it started out, like in the 1800s, as like an agricultural show. You show up and you bring your prize pigs or whatever, and they give them a ribbon.
Yeah, and they shear a sheep and a guy cuts a block of wood or whatever, which I love, by the way.
I love the wood carving too.
I love a wood chop.
But modern audiences, James, and modern show goers.
Modern times call for modern methods.
Exactly, and that means selling people a bunch of garbage.
Yep.
Right? We were no longer happy with the bringing the prize cow or whatever. So the innovation of the Royal Melbourne Show is a show bag, which used to be like a bag of samples, and now it's just every year for a couple of weeks a year, it's like thousands of bags of licensed crap.
Yep.
Right? Anything you can think of, any sports team, any movie franchise, any candy bar. There'll be a show bag specifically for that, and it usually contains some stuff vaguely related to that brand, and then it also contains cheap plastic garbage like a toy or whatever that'll break on the train ride home. And it also contains a Phantom comic for no reason. Like, they sell thousands a year, and I reckon at least 50% of them have a Phantom comic in them for some reason. So it's been drilled into our head, Stockholm Syndrome style, that the Phantom is ours and we love him. Just these black and white newsprint comics.
Do you love the Phantom, though?
I don't hate the Phantom.
I like the idea of the Phantom.
I didn't even, maybe it is Stockholm Syndrome because we've been doing this for a month, but I didn't even hate this movie particularly.
No, I didn't either. I think it's like, imagine a guy in purple tights beat up a bunch of guys who look like Indiana Jones.
I love that.
But it's not as good as Indiana Jones.
Nope.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on. Man, they really chew through the origin of this at the start, don't they? But I feel like that would have been a really good opportunity to do like a 10-minute pirate kind of prologue adventure, you know?
Right. But I think
Phantom Origins Year Zero.
Oh my God. And we could show how he got the purple cow.
Exactly.
Where did he get the purple dye? In Bengala or wherever. Nobody else has anything purple. It's the 30s. Purple.
A laser did it.
A laser. Oh, probably a laser did it. Yeah. No, you're probably absolutely right. But I think they probably went, you know what? Let's get to the meat of it straight away.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I think they didn't want an audience to be like, this is a pirate movie? I haven't signed up for a pirate movie. I signed up for a purple tights movie guy.
Yeah, Gina Davis's pirate movie had recently bombed. So
Cutthroat Island.
Exactly,
right.
Yeah. But also Muppet Treasure Island. So what do you do?
That's right. It's so hard to thread that needle. You know what I mean?
Anyways, I really like Billy Zane in the role, even if I don't love the character.
Yes, I think you're absolutely right. Again, he does have a look of a man who doesn't know what a sports Walkman is. He's got great hair or a wig. I don't know what his deal is.
I'll talk about it later.
I don't know what his deal is ultimately.
I've got notes.
Okay, I'm glad. But he's also got the experience of a crime fighter and a man who fights evil, but he's also got a certain naivete about the real world kind of thing.
Like how he doesn't understand US currency despite living there for quite a long time.
Or women.
The two things.
There's a moment where he's had a brief adventure with Diana. He's had a brief adventure with the woman of the piece.
Yep.
And then they're chilling and relaxing in his skull cave, and he's like, oh, to commemorate this occasion, is just a beautiful piece of priceless jewelry That is a terrible mistake to make on a first date. What are you thinking? What are you thinking, Kit Walker, which is your real name, by the way?
It's true. The thing is about this character in this movie is I don't like him that much, and that's his fault.
Right.
Because I want to like this guy. Like, I like Billy Zane, but yeah, it is that naivety. There's kind of I don't know if it's a smugness, but kind of a wishy-washy kind of whatever kind of attitude.
Okay. Do you think it's because he's a Nepo baby?
I think that's it. Okay, so for those
he's riding on the good graces of his dead ancestors.
Oh, let's talk about that. So the way the Phantom works is it's a guy.
He's a ghost. James?
No, mate.
He's an immortal man and he lives forever. And he's a what?
No, you missed.
What do you mean?
You missed the multiple parts in the movie where they explain that he's not an immortal man. He's a regular man.
It's a magic man.
No, it's a lineage of superheroes passed from father to son. Not always. Sometimes there's a woman Phantom, but not that often.
Well, I mean, you know, how are I to know? I'm a simple man who looks like Indiana Jones with like a dirty Henley and a hat on, and I just think everything's. I'm so credulous, if I may. There's a moment the idea that the bandit's encountering the Phantom and thinking that he's some kind of immortal spirit would be more believable to me if it wasn't just daytime when they first see him, and it's obviously just a bloke in purple tights
with guns.
Because
why would he need them?
It's just he's like, I killed the Phantom. That's a man in a mask. It could be anybody. You killed his dad, but you could have killed anybody, and anybody could have found the costume.
Well, his dad, like, no wonder James Remar killed him.
Yes.
So apparently that version of the Phantom was born in 1872 and died in 1932, which makes him 50. But Patrick McGoohan was clearly 67 at time of filming. That dude should not be the Phantom.
Absolutely not.
What are you doing?
Unless you continue to age in your death, like in the afterlife.
Maybe that's it, yeah.
Or, again, maybe Kit Walker hasn't seen his dad in so long that he can't really remember what he looks like.
Yeah.
Because is this guy magic or is he not magic? Is this guy a ghost or is it just all in his head?
That's a big problem for me of this movie, is the vagueness concerning all the mystical, magical stuff. There's a moment at the start where they have an Indiana Jones-esque sequence where they go into a temple and then a skeleton strangles a man.
Yeah. First thought I was like,
he's joking.
It's a guy playing a trick.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, it's probably some cables and some gears or whatever. The Phantom set that up. Nah.
Like, I could even get around like a bunch of skulls that probably have some diamonds in it that make a laser. I'll happily accept that.
Sure.
But I will not accept that you put a couple of those together and they point to a picture of a map on the wall. Like,
Okay.
what if you put them together in a different room? Does it go and find a map?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. If it does that, how?
It hails the trolley car and it gets on and it pays its nickel or whatever. And then it takes a trip, ding, ding, down the road to the Museum of Natural History.
I'm sorry, there needs to be more specifics in terms of how the magic and the mysticism in this movie operates. The thing about the Indiana Jones movies are, and it's all of them, I would say, even the ones you don't like, there is an in-universe logic to the way things operate. You know, the traps and the trials and the things that he goes through and the like. There's like a mechanism behind it. Yes. And I know they're far-fetched, and then sometimes he sees God or an alien or whatever.
Okay.
Whatever. But there is a structure to that that they adhere to that this movie just doesn't do at all.
Absolutely.
And I fucking hate that.
Exactly. Like if maybe Kit Walker, the Phantom, thinks that his father's just a hallucination in his mind, but then it turns out the power of the skulls is, you know, bringing him back from the afterlife or something. At least it would tie it all together.
Sure, yeah.
In a way, you know?
Anyway, the costume's good.
I was going to say the costume's good. The costume
It's textured and form-fitting.
It is, and it first of all, he's ripped as hell, which doesn't hurt at all.
Big time.
In a way you did not have to be for a superhero movie in this era at all. The Shadow. We just talked about it. But yeah, this sort of pioneered that MCU costuming trick of like you take the four-color flat textured costume from the comic books and you add
raised webbings.
You add the raised webbings and so forth. That being said, I think they could have gone harder and made it look more sort of armored, because now it sort of looks like a rash guard for people who don't want to take their shirt off at the beach. You know what I mean?
And if you're this guy though, you would want to
You
take
would
your shirt
absolutely
off.
do it. Yeah.
I mean, if I look like that, I would podcast shirtless.
Absolutely.
100%. I think though there are some good stunts in this. I would even say Indiana Jones-esque. So one of the earlier action sequences, they take the truck stunt from Raiders and the bridge stunt from Temple of Doom and they just kind of mash them together.
That's right.
It's a pretty solid effect,
Yeah.
I would say. Yeah. There's a moment where a horse is running as fast as a plane somehow, caught up to a plane. Whatever, I guess, internal logic of this movie. Who am I to question that, I guess?
That's
you
right.
know? And, you know, they drop down onto the horse and it all looks very convincing and practical. And I think there's some genuinely good stuff in this. And what else could you expect from the director of Free Willy or Lightning Jack?
Lightning Jack.
Lightning Jack.
Australia's own Lightning Jack.
Australian director, that's right.
Love that. See, I told you this was Australia's own, The Phantom. I told you.
Yeah, you did.
Who else can we talk about? We got Treat Williams.
Oh, yeah.
As Drax, and let me tell you, that man is a treat.
Yeah,
that much. I'm enjoying. He's chewing a bit of scenery. He's a successful businessman, but he's also just an insane murderer for no reason.
Do you like his microscope knife machine?
He's
just stab him. What are you doing?
Just a very specific microscope with hidden telescoping blades that leaves a dead body just right dead center of your office, and then you have to drag it away.
I also feel like that wouldn't kill somebody. You'd have a man stumbling around spraying blood from his eyes.
Yeah, on all your priceless paintings and leather-bound books and so forth.
You have to push him out a window or something. You have to guide him to a window.
Guide him to a window.
I'm actually taking you to the doctor's office.
Oh, thank you.
Push out the window.
I don't know how those knives got there in that microscope. And yeah, it was so the mechanism of death. It's so he's like, why don't you look in this microscope? And he's like, I can't see anything. Why don't you adjust it on the side there? I can't find. It's there. There's a dial. If you could just the other dial. No, you're changing that. No, that's not it. Gotcha.
You do get it. I think Christy Swanson as Diana Palmer is good. They have a good chemistry for the most part, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. Apparently they cut out a lot of the more romantic subplot. And of course, one Catherine Zeta-Jones appears in this movie.
That's right.
That's right. Now,
as the bad girl turned good. Spoiler alert. She's like, sure, I'll murder all these people, but also...
I'm sorry?
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
I've stopped.
It's been a big whirlwind of a couple of days, so I don't know, honestly.
Also, Shao Kahn turns up in the end.
He sure does.
He's like, hello, I'm from Mortal Kombat.
That's right.
And it's always good to see that guy. He also killed the Phantom.
Yeah, like from what era, though?
Exactly.
How old's that guy?
Did he kill Kit Walker's son? Did he kill a 4-year-old boy?
Maybe. Maybe the Phantom's dad had 2 kids, and he killed the better one.
Oh, okay.
Maybe this guy's like the understudy.
Second Phantom.
Exactly.
I guess that's how the Phantom can work. Also, if I was the Phantom, I would be having kids straight away.
To pass it on immediately?
Yeah, man. Get out of the game. Like, obviously his dad did it way too long. You don't want to be doing that at 67.
No. Well, his son had to go and study art at college or whatever,
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
No, you live in a cave. You live in a cave and you ride a tiger or whatever you do, Mason. Do you think?
You ride your pantomime horse.
Thank you. Very good, yeah. I also think, like, the ultimate kind of weapon that they're after here is like, we need to get all the skulls together because the skulls shoot a laser.
Yep.
Who cares?
Right?
You're on the cusp of nuclear technology.
You have seaplanes. This movie's sponsored by big seaplanes. There's so many of them. It can nearly outrun a horse. That's their slogan.
Nearly.
Yeah. One day, if you keep buying these seaplanes, one day we'll invent one that's faster than a horse.
Maybe you get a good wind. You'd be... Oh, no, then the horse would get the wind. Anyway, but just like, what are you going to do with a collection of laser skulls? It's like having a Tommy gun, really, isn't it?
Oh.
It's only good if you can run in and, like, laser someone with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you could write your name on the moon, potentially, but that would be hard.
I think so, too.
Do you think so? Yeah. But I did love at the end when they figure out that there's a 4th skull.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Phantom's ring.
They have a Dragon Ball battle.
They have a Dragon Ball battle. And then the villain does the smooth criminal lean before he explodes.
That's right. And he says, unbelievable.
Yeah.
I love that. I wouldn't believe it either.
No.
Well, that being said, I've just connected 3 skulls together and started shooting lasers out of them, so maybe I would believe it. Oh, this was probably how the day was going to go, honestly.
Earlier I saw it point to a map. I guess this is on brand for the skulls.
It is a skull you have there, and you're wearing a skull. I mean, skulls, it's a popular motif for all the way around the world, I suppose.
I mean, the internal logic of this universe is fucked. I guess this is fairly common.
Probably fine. I bequeath my knife microscope to my henchman in my will before I go.
So, if you don't mind, it's time for the Fanvia.
Okay.
We're doing some Phantom trivia, Mason.
I see.
So, like with last week's movie, whatever it was, Shadow.
Yes.
It was The Shadow, wasn't it?
It was The Shadow, yes.
Yeah. Sam Raimi was actually considered as director for this, and Bruce Campbell was considered for the role of the Phantom.
Oh, that could have worked.
I don't mind that at all. But reportedly, Billy Zane was a huge fan of the property and had been for a little bit leading up to this.
Would you say he was a big fan?
Yeah.
Spelt F-A-N, just the regular way?
Yes.
That's great. Very fortuitous then.
I think so.
Spelt with a P-H. Fortuitous.
Billy Zane pumped iron for over a year to fill out the Phantom's costume.
Damn.
Now, initially, a Batman-like costume was created with fake muscles, like that coward Michael Keaton.
But then he simply burst out of it.
That's right. So they didn't need that by the time filming had started. Now, here's where we get into some wig logic.
Okay.
I have some issues here.
Because I would say Billy Zane, famously, just a very good-looking bald head, I would say.
Agreed.
But I've always wondered, did he, like when he's in Titanic, is that a wig?
That's a wig.
That's a wig. So, okay.
Yeah,
All right, go for it. Shoot.
The word on IMDb is that Billy Zane shaved his head to get the Phantom cowl to fit as closely as possible.
Okay.
But this was obviously difficult because when the Phantom was out of costume, he needed a full head of hair. So apparently all those scenes needed to be shot earlier in production. And the scene where the Phantom removes the cowl, apparently that was shot in 2 parts in reverse order over several weeks. But that is simply not true.
Okay.
If I did some research, if you look at Billy Zane from this era, he was a balding man, which is totally fine. I think he just shaved his head. Again, looks incredible with a shaved head.
Because when you have on a movie, when you see someone with a full head of hair and they put a bald cap on them, it is seamless and completely flat. So the idea that you would need to shave your entire head to put on like a decently bulky cowl.
It's not true, Mason.
It's not true, is it?
It's not. It's simply not true. Yeah. Anyways, Billy Zane should have been Lex Luthor at some point, as people
that
say.
would have been great.
Yeah, I know, right? 90s Superman movie.
Yes, please.
Kidding me? You kidding me? Now, this movie was originally going to be the first of a trilogy, like I think all of these movies that we've talked about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Billy Zane originally signed up to do 2 sequels, but obviously because this made about this much money.
Oh, you've made the going to the toilet sound.
I did, didn't I?
Which is very rarely positive when it comes to box office.
That is correct. Because on a budget of $45 million, it only made $23.5 million.
Ouchie, wouchies.
Yeah. I think I mean, there's movies from this era that did much better than this, which are much worse.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel. Yeah. No, that's just my thinking. Yeah. Now, in 2008, Paramount Pictures were considering actually creating a sequel to The Phantom with Zane, Swanson, and Catherine Zeta-Jones returning in their roles. But instead of a sequel, a reboot of The Phantom was in the works, and it's called The Phantom Legacy.
Oh.
Now you're going to love this.
Go on.
Australia's own Sam Worthington.
Sam Worthington is Australian.
Yeah, he was being considered for the role because there was that 4-year window where he was
tapped to be in everything, yeah. They were like, well, this guy's going to be the next big star. We better get him in the movie and fulfill the prophecy.
Exactly.
Spelled with a PH, but not where you'd think.
But of course, I know you probably want to talk about the Phantom reboot TV show, so go on.
James, I'll be honest, I didn't watch it and I don't know anything about it. All I know of it is there's
You bring it up all the time.
I know. All I know about
this is when you would do it. How are you not prepared for this?
I didn't think about
it. You even mentioned it in a previous video. I'm fairly confident.
But I didn't have time to watch it. But all I know, and also, where am I going to get it? What's it on? I'm going to get it on a burnt VCD.
I bet it's on YouTube. What was it called? Let me check.
Just The Phantom, I guess, on Sci-Fi. But I'll give you this, James. All I've ever watched is the trailer, and there's a moment where the new guy is revealed to me.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
The new guy's he learns of his destiny to be the next Phantom.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'll be the Phantom, but I won't wear that stupid costume. He's wearing the stupidest costume imaginable.
He looks
it's
like
the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Looks like he's got a cardboard box that they've painted purple on his head. Like a cereal box or something.
Wasn't it supposed to be a
box of Count Chocula?
That's really good stuff. Would you like to see more Phantom in the future? Say, for example, they could take some characters like the Phantom, Mandrake the Magician, Lothar, Flash Gordon, and then you're making a Defenders of the Earth movie based on all of a sudden.
You could do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm just kind of surprised they haven't attempted that yet.
Yeah, there was a comic book series called King's Watch.
Oh, yeah.
Which was something similar and was kind of like a modern day take on that. They got all the characters from King Features Syndicate, which is where the Phantom is from, and they put them together.
No, he's from Australia. I think you're fine.
And made a little limited series, and I think that's actually quite good, so people should check that out, I reckon.
Maybe they should. And you know another thing people can check out?
The Phantom 2040 animated series?
No.
The Phantom 2040 video game series.
Oh, okay. I'm listening. Is it good?
No.
You should check that out, though.
Okay, great.
You specifically. Nobody else. Mason will report back next week.
Great.
Maybe he'll do his homework this time.
Maybe I will. Hey, here's a fun fact. Did you know that originally the Phantom was going to be an idle playboy named Jimmy Wells?
Why would I know that?
You would never know that, but I'm telling you now, and I'm going to quiz you next week, so you better remember that fact. But he's in the movie. He's just like a supporting character.
Oh, he's the one who's like, I'm in love with you.
And a lot of people have said perhaps the reason that the Phantom isn't as popular in America is because he wasn't that. He wasn't an American playboy.
He's Australian.
New York City style.
Yeah.
Instead, he was an Australian legend.
He's an Aussie bloke.
That's right. A real larrikin is what he is.
That's it. But you know what, Mason?
Spelled with a PH.
Yeah.
A farrikin. I don't know what that is.
Do you know what, though?
What's that?
You can actually see these videos early if you head over to bigsandwich.co. It's basically our private Patreon. You know,
basically.
Well, it is. It's, you know, if you like what we do here and you want to support, but also you want to get some bonus stuff, you can, because we do movie commentaries. We've actually done one on The Phantom.
Halfway through watching this movie this time, I was like, oh, yeah.
We watched that recently.
We watched that very recently.
Yeah. There's also bonus podcasts. There's video game Let's Plays. There's just a whole bunch of good stuff there that you might be interested in, including our podcast, The Weekly Planet, where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. That comes out there Sunday as opposed to Monday. All of that is ad-free and exclusive if you are interested.
I love that.
Or just subscribe here or do whatever.
Let's do that.
Whatever.
Let's do it, whatever.
Yeah. Just a couple of Aussie larrikins, you know?
That's right. Not unlike The Phantom.
Correct. Yeah. Anyways, thank you to Ben and Lawrence for the edit.
Thank you, Ben and Lawrence.
And we'll see you on the next one. Oh, we're doing the Green Hornet. I think that people probably know that.
The Seth Rogen one that no one's seen.
I don't know if that fits in this, but we're doing 5.
Yeah, you already made that graphic where you put the 5.
I mean, I didn't.
Someone did.
Ben did, yeah.
You commanded it to happen.
All right, thanks everyone.
Grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next time.
Grab that laser skull. Do a big lean.
Okay, if this video does really well, I'll switch over to saying that.
If it gets a million views?
Yeah, if it gets a million views.
Okay, great.